Massive uproar over Congress posting a fake image of the preamble to the Constitution. BJP chief JP Nadda calls it shameful. Vice President Dhankar gives a big hint on the special session of Parliament, says day is not far when women will get due representation in legislatures. Is the Modi government bringing in the women's reservation bill in the special session? Udayanidi's talent still defiant over the Sanatan remark. BJP compares him to Hitler. 262 eminent personalities write to the Chief Justice urging the Supreme Court to take cognizance of his comments. 2 days before the G20 summit, a big COVID scare. US First Lady Jill Biden tests positive for COVID. President Biden is negative so far. He will be tested again tonight. Team India's squad for the one-day is announced. Rahul is back in the squad. Team from the Asia Cup is retained. An invite for the President's G20 dinner has triggered a massive buzz. The use of the President of Bharat in the invite generated shock and awe. Article 1 of the Constitution reads, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. So is the government hinting at renaming or just reviving a name that is already entrenched in our Constitution?
We, the people of India, and India, that is Bharat. That's how the Constitution describes the country. On Tuesday, a presidential invitation for a G20 dinner had the Republic of Bharat instead of the customary Republic of India printed on the surface in public domain. Earlier on September 2, the RSS chief, in a speech at Guwahati, proposed the name Bharat should be prioritized over India in common parlance.
उसका नाम भारत है तो दुनिया में कहीं भी जाएगा तो वो भारत ही रहना चाहिए. तो हम बोलने में लिखने में सर्वत्र भारत कहे. किसी को समझने में नहीं आया, चिंता न करे, उसको जरूरत है तो वो समझ लेगा. हमको जरूरत नहीं है सबको समझाने की.
Clamor within the ruling dispensation has grown to drop India from the country's name and start calling the nation भारत.
पूरा देश आज चाहता है, भारत का नाम दसियों हजार साल से मैं कह रहा हूं भारत है, इसलिए ये भारत रहना चाहिए. विश्व के अंदर कोई देश ऐसा नहीं है जिसके दो नाम हों.
दुनिया के अंदर भारत एकमात्र ऐसा देश है जिसके दो नाम हैं. देश के अधिकांश लोगों की भावना है कि देश का नाम केवल भारत होना चाहिए और इंडिया पूरी तरीके से प्राणहीन है, भारत पूरी तरीके से जीवंत है.
This kind of name changing, however, requires a constitutional amendment, a process involving both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha to have 2/3 of members present and in favor to pass the proposed modification, followed by ratification by states. Sources, however, indicate the government may at least bring in a resolution to rename India as Bharat during the Parliament's special session scheduled from the September 18th to the 22nd. Opposition parties have been swift to take a jab at the proposed name change exercise, insisting it was driven out of fear of Alliance's India nomenclature.
किसी पार्टियों का अलायंस इंडिया बन जाता है तो वो देश का नाम बदल देंगे. देश तो 140 करोड़ लोगों का है, किसी एक पार्टी का देश थोड़ी है. कल मान लीजिए इस इंडिया अलायंस ने अपना नाम बदल के भारत रख लिया तो फिर भारत भी बदल देंगे. फिर क्या भारत का नाम बीजेपी रखेंगे?
It seems that after the India alliance has been constituted, the BJP have started to develop an ill will and a sense of hatred towards the name of India.
Bihar's Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee and NCP Chief Sharad Pawar mounted a synchronized attack on the BJP government at the centre for the name change proposal.
नामकरण जो गठबंधन का हुआ है, इससे इतने ये लोग डरे हुए हैं कि नाम जो है बदल रहे हैं। बताइए, अब इंडिया नाम लेने में भी कतरा रहे हैं। किस बात का डर है भाई?
इंडिया नामटा नामे सारा विश्व चेने, हठाৎ এমন কি হলো আজকে দেশের নামটাও চেঞ্জ হয়ে যাবে? কবে কবি ঠাকুরের নাম চেঞ্জ হয়ে যাবে? বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়গুলো সব নাম চেঞ্জ করে দিচ্ছে, বড় বড় ঐতিহাসিক সৌধ তার নাম চেঞ্জ করে দিচ্ছে, ইতিহাসকে পরিবর্তন করে দিচ্ছে।
The India versus Bharat debate rages on, and it's likely to intensify further in the run-up to Parliament's upcoming session. Bureau Report, India Today.
So there is one thing which is almost certainly happening, the Modi government wanting to encourage the use of the name Bharat. We heard that from Bhagwatji. We've seen the likes of Hemanta Biswa Sarma, the Chief Minister of Assam, and many others in government suggest that yes, there is nothing wrong in using the name Bharat, it must happen. The question is, will they in the special session of Parliament want to do away with the reference to India and just focus on calling Bharat India in the way that Bombay became Mumbai, Madras became Chennai, Calcutta became Kolkata. So is that the idea, that there are two different strands at play, or could this just be a smokescreen? Because just earlier you had the one nation, one poll smokescreen, where ultimately Ramnath Kovind leads a committee. That committee will take time. They want to head in that direction, but they just want to fire a few grenades in the air, confuse the opposition, have them running helter-skelter, and then Prime Minister Modi comes and delivers something completely out of the box. So what's going on here? Joining me on this broadcast, I want to welcome Shehzad Poonawala, spokesperson of the Congress, of the BJP. For some reason at this moment, the Congress decided to boycott Shehzad, and they've said that they will not participate with him. Shehzad's still trying to figure out what's going on, but hey, we've got Sanjay Jha joining us. He's not in, but he's not fully out either. He'll give us the perspective from his point of view of the changes that seem to be at play. Salim Dharanidharan joins us. He's a spokesperson of the DMK. We're seeing from Tamil Nadu and from the south a very strong pushback. They're saying you can't impose a Hindu name on the rest of us. They want India to continue being called India, and they're absolutely not okay with any name change. And for a historical academic perspective, I'm joined by Harsh Gupta Madhusudan. He's the author of A New Idea of India. We'll trace what happened in the Constituent Assembly, also look at the different names India has gone by and where the name India actually comes from. So Harsh can shed some light on that. So let's start by asking Shehzad Poonawala first. Is this a smokescreen? Is it for real? Bhagwatji used the name Bharat, and he was quite clear that it should be called Bharat, and when the RSS chief speaks, he's taken seriously. He kind of sets the line for everyone to follow. The fact that the name Bharat will be encouraged is one thing. Are you wanting to change the name of our country to Bharat full time?
As of 8:07 p.m. on 5th of September 2023, there is no such proposal to change any name.
What about on the 18th of September?
On the 18th of September, if I go by India Today and by Rahul Kanwal, there are 5 agendas which India Today has listed. UCC is also coming on 18th. Women's Reservation Bill is also coming. Apart from that, you all have said one nation, one poll is also coming. So you yourself have put out 5 agendas.
And you have no clue?
I have no clue because I'm not a member of parliament. This prerogative lies with the members of parliament who will be called for the BAC.
But you support the idea of changing the name of India to Bharat, like Bhagwatji.
Now, let me come to that because you're skipping from one question to another. Let me complete one answer. As of 18th of September, the BAC will be held. The Speaker will invite all parliamentarians who are in that BAC and will tell them the agenda. Now, as far as the word Bharat is concerned, it is there in our constitution. So, it's not renaming or reviving, it is a reiteration. And by the way, the only question to be asked today is that why is the Congress so antithetical to Bharat? They said Bharat Mata ki Jai nahi bolna hai. Today morning the story was broken on your channel. They are against Bharat ki Sena. They keep
so we'll park that on the side for the second. I'm just asking,
they are against,
would you like for the name of our country to be henceforth called Bharat? Because the constitution has both Bharat and India written there, so that doesn't require any change. You want to call it Bharat, by all means India stays. India stays or India goes? That's my question.
Now let me come to that. Like I said, there is no proposal for removing either one or pushing
At this
either
moment.
one.
But
At this
18
moment.
September, you
But
don't know.
18 September, the agenda will be clarified by the Speaker to the members of Parliament.
But do you want does the BJP want the name to be changed?
Let me answer it, and let me have more than 5 seconds.
Okay.
Let my answers be more than the question.
Okay.
My question is that when Bharat as a name has been given in the constitution, why is the Congress opposed to it? Is the Congress tomorrow going to say that it should not be called Mahabharat, it should be called Maha-India? Is the Congress going to say that?
No, but they haven't said anything about Maha-India.
They have
I'm
opposed
saying,
it.
would you like the name of our country to be Bharat? Shahzad, answer this question straight and direct.
I'll answer that question straight away. The question is that Bharat, you know who actually proposed that Bharat should be the name of the country, if I can take you back to history? It was Hargovind Pant, a congressman. It was Kamlapati Tripathi, a congressman. Apart from that, Mulayam Singh Yadav.
So Hargovind Pant in the debate in the Constituent Assembly on
Rahul,
the
you have
18th of
to let me
September
complete,
wanted the name Bharat Varsh.
Okay.
Bharat Varsh.
Or Bharat.
Yeah.
Both. And Kamlapati Tripathi was for Bharat. Apart from that, now let me please complete, Rahul, 30
No,
seconds.
sure.
In 2012, Shantaram Naik, a congressman, moved a resolution saying that India should be deleted and Bharat should be the name. Apart from that, in 2004, Mulayam Singh Yadav, Samajwadi Party, part of the India Alliance, said that we are putting it in our manifesto that Bharat should be used, India should not be used. Apart from that, my question is fundamentally
No, what are you
this.
saying? Does the BJP, I'm asking a straight question, you're dancing all around it.
No, I'm not
Do you
saying
want the
dancing
name
around
of
it.
India to be changed to Bharat? Just a yes or no answer.
The answer cannot be yes or no because this is not a Twitter poll that you run which is pinned on your top of your tweet.
Okay.
It can be a Twitter poll. The constitution says Bharat first in the Hindi version, which was the original version, and in the English version it says India, that is Bharat.
So nothing
Both
needs to
names are
change.
there. But let me ask now, let me please make a larger point.
Okay.
The larger point, Rahul, which you are missing in just having this one word answers from me, is the fact that look at the Congress's antipathy towards anything that is rooted in our Sanskriti and our Bharatiyata. Let me answer that by saying that Bharat Mata Ki Jai was opposed. If anything is said by Bharat Ki Sena, it is questioned. Today you have a situation where Bharat Ki Janta is called Rakshas and Bharat Ki Sanskriti, Sanatan Dharma, they say that we need to eradicate it. And finally, I am saying that if the Congress takes this further, are they tomorrow going to say that the Indian army has a call, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, it should be changed to India Mata Ki Jai? Will they tomorrow say?
Okay, so you
one
made that
second.
point.
Will
Let me
you-
go across
one,
to
let me
Sanjay
just
Jha.
complete. Rahul, let me
No,
just
because
complete.
you're now adding a
Rahul,
lot of rhetoric to
no,
what
I'm not adding
I'm
rhetoric.
trying to distill
Rahul,
what's
you're not
happening.
allowing me to
No,
frame
because
a
you've
fundamental...
spoken now for 8
Rahul,
minutes.
No, you have interrupted me for 7 minutes. So
Okay.
let me just make a larger point.
Very quickly.
Just, very quickly. Our national anthem, when Ambedkar ji and all our founding fathers were around, has the words Bharat Bhagya Vidata. Are they saying that Bharat
They
is...
haven't said anything.
They have
You're
said
making
that.
it all up.
One
They
second.
haven't
I have
said
not-
that change
Have you
Bharat
heard the
Bhagya
statements
Vedanta.
of Congress leaders?
Okay, let me one
They
second.
have said,
Let's
one
hear
second.
from Sanjay Jha.
One
Okay,
second.
you've
They have
spoken
said
enough.
clearly,
Okay, now
Rahul,
Sanjay
you are now
Jha,
making me raise my voice.
My
Let me articulate
my
what the...
question, Sanjay
Let me
Jha,
articulate... No, let
the
me
government, from what I can understand, hasn't said formally that it wants to change the name of the country from India to Bharat. All we have formally is this invitation from the President of India, this time called the President of Bharat, which isn't illegal or inappropriate because Bharat is already one of the names of our country enshrined in our constitution. Therefore, there's nothing amiss, and there is no plan yet official to change the name. And everybody seems to be dancing around like a cat on a hot tin roof.
Rahul, thanks very much. Good to be on your show. Just kindly, and I make this humble request, make sure that no one interrupts me while I speak, and I won't take too long. Point number one, and this is important to highlight at the very beginning. Rahul Gandhi and the Congress did a Bharat Joro Yatra, said they didn't need any lectures or instructions or any sarcastic quips in terms of the Congress's commitment towards Bharat and India. Point number one. Point number two, Mohan Bhagwat, the head of RSS, makes a statement a few days ago in Guwahati. It also establishes that Narendra Modi, for all his 56-inch ki chhati, muscular machismo, is eventually nothing but a soft puppet in the hands of Nagpur and the RSS. He dances to the tune of what the RSS wants him to do. Point number three, end of day, if you look at the history of the BJP, it's polarizing and divisive. There was a Time magazine article that called Narendra Modi the divider in chief. Can you imagine a prime minister of a country before a G20, it can be any actual international symposium, actually is playing India against Bharat? I mean, look at the conversation we are having today. You see, when you got a man
No, but the government hasn't said that the name of this... It's the same point that I'm making.
1 minute.
We have this invitation, that apart we have no official clarification saying that the name of the country will be changed forever to Bharat. Both names will be used. They want to encourage the name of the use, they want to encourage the use of the name Bharat, which again most people who are watching won't necessarily oppose to keep both names going. Most people will say, yeah, that's not an unreasonable thing.
But Rahul, can I say something? I've been on social media most of the day. I've seen a couple of television programs as well. Why are you and I discussing this today, right? Because it is unusual, right? A normal invitation would have gone as the President of India. The reason why this is significant, I think in my opinion, is because the BJP is doing its political messaging and is significant. And the point that you made at the beginning is equally relevant. This is an attempt by the BJP, because they don't have the constitutional majority to do the amendment, to basically divert attention from some critical factors. The rising food inflation that is ravaging millions across India. Let's not even talk of Manipur. We have discussed it a million times, and the world is aware of what's going on. People are aware of what Chetan Singh did in a train when he hunted down Muslims and killed them. We are aware that the High Court judges have talked about ethnic cleansing in Haryana as a potential threat. We have seen how the boy was slapped in Muzaffarnagar. The hate culture in India is reaching another level. And therefore, this is an attempt to dodge and divert attention from the
let me put that question to
justice.
Shehzad Poonawalla, because the G20 summit would have got over on the 10th of September. Given that Xi Jinping isn't coming, Putin isn't there is a chance that we will not be able to come to a joint communique, even though Amitabh Kant, Dr. Jaishankar and the team are trying to ensure that there is some consensus. So far that is proving elusive. The opposition may on the 11th say the G20 failed to divert attention from what may be coming. The allegation is that you're preparing the ground to create a smokescreen or a distraction, so you can quickly distract people to any of these big issues and take their mind away from the fact that you hyped up the G20 and couldn't come up with the joint communique.
Now, Rahul, I request you to just give me some uninterrupted time like you gave to Sanjay while he was making all arguments except for the argument he should be making. Today, even that invite that you have, Rahul Kanwal, with all due responsibility, is that an official invite that you have? Can you confirm that?
Multiple ministers got the same.
No.
Which
minister, please name?
No, Mahendranath Pandey got the invite.
No. Has he given it to you?
Yeah, we have the invite. Yeah,
so, look,
we've seen
that invitation also, I am not accepting it that invitation is on record. You all are tweeting it.
Dharmendra Pradhan tweeted about it.
1 second. Let me please complete my
No, but a lot of it is weak on fact, right? Your minister tweeted
there
about it, you're
no-
questioning the
I
validity
am
of the
not
invite itself.
No, please show me the tweet of Dharmendra Pradhan.
Just pull out the tweet.
Please put out the tweet of Dharmendra Pradhan. As far as the invitation is concerned, even if that invitation, let's assume if it's true, the name of Bharat is already enshrined in the constitution.
There you go. One second.
One second.
President of India.
Where is Dharmendra Pradhan's tweet?
Dharmendra Pradhan.
No. This is
from him
by
himself.
Who? This is who's put it out?
Dharmendra Pradhan ji put it out.
Show me Dharmendra Pradhan's tweet. Show me his tweet.
Pull it out.
This is an alleged invitation named to Dharmendra Pradhan. Show me the tweet he's put out. If he's tweeted it out. Now let me complete my point, Rahul, and I promise you I'll finish in 45 seconds. This is not an ego issue.
No, one second. Yeah, you just make these points. Dharmendra Pradhan 6 hours ago.
Where has he tweeted it?
He's tweeted Dharmendra Pradhan's tweet. Jan Gan Man, then this is the
tweet. Has he tweeted this invite?
Yeah, he has, Shehzad. You better research properly. You're mixing up names. No, 1 second. Because your level of filibustering is very high and your level of research is very poor.
No,
because look at the confidence with which you're making these charges. No, one second, because you can't get away with this. Because the level of filibustering and arrogance is very high, the level of research is very poor, and it needs to be called out. This is your minister. You should have done your better research. You claim to be well researched.
Now let's assume
you're being exposed as being very poorly researched.
1 second. Now let me.
But first, just admit that you made a very terrible mistake. Be magnanimous and accept that you made a mistake.
I was not aware that.
No, because you're constantly trying to find fault with what's happening and you're very poorly researched.
Okay, now let me come to the point.
No, so accept that fact that you made a mistake.
That I was not told that this was a tweet that was put out. No,
so you should research. It's not like the Sanjay Jha, the Congress have tweeted. Your own minister.
Okay, now let me come.
You still haven't accepted you made a mistake.
No, it's a
tweet.
I did not see that tweet. I'm accepting it. Now can I move on?
No, please.
Now I'm asking you that even once this tweet has been put out and it says the President of Bharat, is Bharat a new name? Is it not part of the Constitution? If it's part of the Constitution, then please tell me, Rahul Kanwal, how is it polarizing, as Mr. Sanjay Jha calls it? How is it something that is against the idea of India? Or how is it something that is against the Constitution? Or is it running roughshod over any of the constitutional aspects? By the way, those who are talking about Ambedkar or they are saying about diversion, who is asking them to react on this issue? They have thousands of of other issues to react on. This is part of the constitution anyways. So why is it that the Congress party has spent all its time making videos and questioning why is the name being changed? Is there a proposal to change
but
the
that's
name?
a good point.
One.
No,
Point two.
okay.
Now let me just complete. The point is that even if you say that this is against the Constitution of India, that's what the spokesperson just said, or at least the Congress party sympathizer just said. The Congress party tweeted a copy of the preamble of the Constitution which had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mistakes in it. This is the level of their research, Rahul Kanwal, and I hope you will call them out also. This is the preamble tweeted officially by the Congress party, and it says, "We the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign spelled wrongly,
That was the first
republic
headline that
spelled
we had.
wrongly,
So yes, we did
social,
cover that.
economic
Now,
and political
Sanjay Jha,
belief has been made as
respond to
belief."
the point that Shehzad Poonawalla is making. That a lot of this is, everyone's chasing the tail, but nobody really knows what's happening. So you got this big debate that's happening about a possible name change. The government hasn't confirmed that the name indeed will be changed, and therefore, on that invitation, the president can say the president of Bharat, because she is the president of Bharat as much as she is the president of India. Both names can be used interchangeably. Our constitution says so.
Rahul, a valid question, but now let me tell you the political factor that you or nobody can ignore. You are aware of this, right? That ever since the India Alliance came up with the name India, which I think is a brilliant branding statement, it's caught the imagination of every Indian in our country. I think the BJP has been extremely unnerved and rattled. I mean, you can see at the moment that they are in a panic button stage. If you listen to what, in fact, my friend from the BJP has been saying, they almost seem hostile to the use of India. For God's sake, this is our name as a country. I mean, we are represented by this name all over the world as we talk today, whether it's an IIT or an IIM or the RBI or the SBI, and we say so with pride. As we talk, Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. The reluctance to use India, and I've seen BJP spokespersons call it Ghamandia or I.N.D.I.A, you can see the visible manifestations of panic. And I do believe names are important. And here is an attempt, therefore, to try and actually
let Shehzad respond to this. That this is started post the India Alliance giving the name India. Before that, nobody seemed to have a problem with India. Ghamandia and all I.N.D.I.A, all of that is post the opposition alliance calling themselves India.
He just now named Reserve Bank of India. There is also Bharatiya Reserve Bank, which has been given at the same time. So is that against India?
No, but about the India Alliance.
One second, I'm coming to that. The fact of the matter is that today, I just told you about the 2012 resolution brought by a congressman, Mr. Shantaram Naik. So was that also because they are scared of something, or they were against the idea of India? Is it the fact that Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav himself wanted India to be removed completely? So does that mean that they were against the name of India? The fact of the matter is that all of these things have been there. The name of Bharat is there in the constitution, and the question today is that the problem that is there is the Congress party has a problem with Bharat. We have no problem with either India or Bharat. Use whichever one you want. But when the Congress party says on record, all of this is in the speculation. Congress party on record today said Bharat Mata Ki Jai is party indiscipline. Isn't it a fact that the Congress party has recently supported what has been said against Bharat Ki Sanskriti, which is the Sanatan Sanskriti, which the DMK Udayanidhi Stalin said, which the Congress party supported, whether it's Priyank Kharge or whether it's Venugopal, who said that look, everyone has their freedom of speech. So the fact is, who is against Bharatiyata is the Congress party.
Okay, Harsh Gupta Madhusudan. India has been called Meluha, Bharatvarsh, Aryavrat, Hind, Hindustan, India. India, in fact, was first used by the Greeks, who translated Hind as Indus, and that's where the name really came from. Why do you think, forget the politics, leave that just for a moment on the side, why do you think it's not such a bad idea for India to formally be called Bharat? Because people call Madras Chennai, they call Bombay Mumbai, they call Calcutta Kolkata, and nobody seems to mind. At the time it happened, there was a big furore, I remember, but now everyone's comfortable with them.
Rahul, thank you for having me. First of all, I really empathize with you. I think very few people know what's actually going to happen on 18th of September, and therefore I think all sides are filibustering, as you rightly mentioned. I think what the key point here is that India as a political civilization entity was not created in 1947. that is the symbolism of Bharat. I don't think the name India is going to be removed. That's my guess. I think it's about a relative reprioritization. For example, Jana Gana Mana is the national anthem and Vande Mataram is the national song. Historically, we have seen more focus on the national anthem, which is fine. But unfortunately, there has been a sort of making taboo Vande Mataram until recently. Similarly, the word Bharat has a connotation of India being the world's longest surviving civilization. Some cultures are very small, we can't call them civilizations. Some of them are large and ancient. But for example, China is currently ruled by the Communist Party, and we cannot call that a continuity of sorts. So what is very important to understand is that 1947 was just another phase in India's civilizational history, which is why the current modern democratic republic, which is extremely important, is a civilizational republic. And if a relative reprioritization of nomenclature happens, to that extent, it is valid. It reminds us, I think it was mentioned rightly, that, for example, people are now attacking Sanatan Dharma, which, by the way, is also a name that we have given ourselves. Hinduism is a word given from outside, but a word which we have absorbed. Just like Bharat is a word that we have given, whereas India is a word which has come from outside. I would not call the Indian word colonial. You rightly mentioned it comes from the Greeks. Their pronunciation of Sindhu becomes Hindu, just like the Persians would call it Hindu. And that's where we get the name from. So it is just to re-emphasize, to the extent that this happens, that this is just another chapter, that one party or one person did not civilize a savage country, as some people have written biographies. And if one political dispensation is going to use the very name of the country India as their alliance, it's like the GOP in the US calling itself the USA. I think that by itself is a bit laughable, right? Because the whole point of democracy is you are fighting within the construct of the nation, the civilization in this case. So the name is very ancient. It was rightly mentioned, many Congress people from 1949 to 2012 have supported the name, and I'm sure nobody in the BJP will be foolish enough to completely drop the name India as well. We support Team India, we bleed blue when we watch cricket. So it's just about the relative reprioritization, keeping in mind the historical reality of
a relative reprioritization cannot be quibbled against, because wanting more people to use the name Bharat is very different from wanting to change the name to Bharat formally, like Madras became Chennai. So they are two very different things. But Salim Dharanidharan of the DMK, there is nothing that has happened so far, sir, which would suggest that the President's invite means that the name of the country will become Bharat from now. The fact that the country is called Bharat already exists in our constitution, so if they want to encourage the use of the name Bharat, surely the DMK shouldn't be objecting in the way that you are.
See, firstly, thank you for having me in the show. And my name is Salem Dharnidharan. So I would like to correct that. See, we have to look at the timing. When was ever that the invitation has come in the name of President of Bharat? Right? The timing is important because ever since the India Alliance was created, BJP is in a paranoid mode. Right? We don't call India as N.D.A. First they started calling us I.N.D.A. Right? And then whenever there has been an India Alliance meeting, the BJP has always found ways to somehow do media management. Last time when we had the meeting, they got about 38 parties together. Until before that, the Home Minister was telling that BJP on standalone basis would get 300, 350 MPs. Then after India Alliance was formed, during the day of a second meeting, they brought together 38 parties, and more than half of those parties are rubber stamp parties. They do not even have a single councillor. Right? And 30% or probably about 8 parties have about one MP, that's all. Except for ADMK, there's no party of significance in that alliance. Then during the third meeting, they come up with a special parliamentary session. And then they said, we are going to bring one nation, one election, which is again not feasible. Then there were discussions that UCC. And today...
No, but they never said this. See, here's the smart thing. They never said that they will bring one nation, one poll right away. They formed a committee under the former president.
Yeah, I'm not saying they did.
They're not saying they'll bring it in this special session. So therefore, everyone's chasing shadows here.
No, that's what even I am saying. What I am saying is this is the problem, because they are paranoid about 2024 and the India Alliance. They are trying all forms of possible ways to divert people's attention, and also to see if you could somehow use the usual way, because there is no growth to show, there is no development to show, to bring up issues like how they recently brought up Sanatan Dharma and other issues to somehow see if they can do something in 2024.
Okay, let Shehzad Poonawala respond to the point that you're making, which is that when the India Alliance was meeting in Bombay is when Prahlad Joshi, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, tweeted to say that there will be this special alliance, special session starting the 18th. So you're constantly trying to take attention away from whatever the India Alliance is trying to do by giving a bigger headlines. There's a lot of narrative management that's taking place here.
Let's play the devil's advocate and assume that that is what we are doing. Why didn't they in the Mumbai meeting come up with a clear-cut agenda that this is our social welfare agenda, this is our political agenda, this is our national security agenda, and they would have had the discussion on that. They could have stolen the thunder from us. What did they come up with a resolution which said as far as possible, and we all know what Mamata Banerjee did to steal the headlines. Anyways, let's not go into that. They said we are paranoid. Is Amitabh Bachchan and Sehwag also paranoid? Did Sehwag not tweet about this? Now, is he also paranoid from India Alliance? Thirdly, Mr. Dharnidharan, whose name you by mistake mispronounced, you saw how touchy he became about the name?
Sure.
Now, I want to ask Mr. Dharnidharan, because he and his party championed the cause of regional languages. I want to ask you and Mr. Dharnidharan, what is India called apart from the language in English in Marathi, Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada? What is the name of India in those languages? Bharat or Bharatam? So if today the invite, which I want to again correct, I was wrong on that and I concede to that, I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
So while I concede that I was wrong on the invite, if the invite says that we will give representation to all these languages, and we will call, the president decides, because she decides for herself how she wants to invite, she says that I will do it as president of Bharat. Is Mr. Dharnidharan saying he's opposed to Bharat, which has foundation in Tamil and is okay with English?
No, but that's the point. If the name of the country isn't being changed to Bharat full time, and if both these names will be used interchangeably, then what's your problem? Then what is it that you're objecting to?
Rahul, is that to me?
No, to Mr. Dharnidharan.
Okay.
No, I think as someone earlier said, see, it's Prime Minister of India, it's President of India, that's what it's always been called. First is the timing, and second, did you have if this is what you're going to decide, did you have discussion with the other parties, right? DMK, the third largest party in the lower house, did you have a discussion with us, right? And again, the term itself originates from Hindi, which is again only the mother tongue of only 28% of the population. So you should first have a discussion, not randomly one morning an invitation comes in the name of Bharat. What will happen, as someone said earlier, if the India coalition names itself as Bharat, then tomorrow they will say president of BJP and send invitation for events. That's how it looks like.
Look, you can feel that, one second sir, Mr. Dharnidharan, you can live in the illusion, Mr. Dharnidharan, you can live in the illusion that the earth rotates around its axis because of the India Alliance. You can also think that we revolve around the sun because of the alliance. That's not how it works. I have asked you that if Bharat is there in the constitution, Bharat is there in most of our Indic languages, are you saying you are against the use of Bharat? So tomorrow onwards DMK, which anyways has an antipathy towards Sanatan Sanskriti and Sanatan Dharma, is going to say India Natyam? Are you going to say India Bhagya Vidhata? Are you going to say India Mata Ki Jai? If we are going to something that is naturally what even congressmen used to demand, we are saying that the President of India chooses to call herself President of Bharat in the invite, that is her prerogative, it is constitutional. What exactly is your problem? And you are saying based on that we have renamed the country. On what basis are you flying this kite? And if you are so concerned about India, sir, the preamble of India, Constitution of India tweeted by congressmen has at least 5 mistakes, spelling and otherwise.
No, so let's
Sanjay
Jha respond to this, because it comes down to this. The president is entitled to use the name Bharat because she is the president of Bharat as much as she is the president of India. If the name, if they say, don't call our country India, only call it Bharat, that is then an enforcement of a certain point of view which others can oppose. But if she wants to encourage the use of the name Bharat, as Mohan Bhagwatji has said, then why this strong objection?
Rahul, pertinent question. You look at the history of the BJP since 2014.
This is for me, right,
whether it's
Rahul?
a name change of a road, whether it's a name change of a of a monument. It's all dictated by a political imperative. And we all know that. This is a non-performing government. It's also, in my opinion, a performing liability. And therefore, it tries very hard to divert the attention of the people from the pressing problems that ought to be discussed. Here are my 2 points here. Politically, and I want to say this emphatically on your program, the BJP is basically a marketing machine that has got stumped because the tagline of the India alliance is Judega Bharat, Jeetega India. So the opposition alliance has taken away both Bharat and India from the BJP. Now they're trying desperately to try and say, we will hold on to the Bharat name through hook or by crook. It doesn't work that way. The second point, which is very critical, and I need to expose the BJP's faux nationalism for your viewers. This is a party. When Gautam Adani's group was charged with doing a financial swindle, stock market manipulation, accounting fraud, the CFO of that company actually said this is an attack on India. And the BJP spokespersons defended him like they were the lawyers. Adani was equal to India. And this is a party that comes and lectures the people of the country on India and Bharat. I mean, this is a crude manifestation of the shamelessness of a political party that is morally compromised, intellectually defunct, and I think politically corrupted. At the
Harsh Gupta, from a branding perspective, will this name change, if it happens at this time, suggest that because the India alliance called themselves India, that kind of got under the skin of the BJP and therefore they've gone to the extent of saying don't use Bharat, because this isn't something that's been pushed since 2014. See, UCC, the Ram Temple in Ayodhya, Article 370 have been core pillars of ideology. Now, the idea of pushing Bharat as a name is a relatively new phenomena. The likes of Sanjay Jha, those in the Congress will say it's because of the fact that this is the India alliance, that's why they've changed the name.
Rahul,
let Harsh respond.
Rahul, what is the full form of BJP? Bharatiya Janata Party.
Sure.
What is the full form of the party that preceded the BJP? Bharatiya Jan Sangh. So obviously the BJP or BJS is not using the term Bharat now in response to some alliance that has been concocted. It's common sense. Once again, India, that is Bharat, is Article 1 of the Indian Constitution. The point here is, because some people want to focus on the fact that somehow India is only the sum of its parts. It is not more than the sum of its parts. There is no organic unity that Gandhi, Nehru, Ambedkar themselves recognized, as opposed to Gandhians and Nehruvians and Ambedkarites today. That it is a 5,000-year-old civilization, that this is just another manifestation, and we now call it India as well with love, pride and respect. It does not negate the fact that the word Bharat, which comes from the Bharata tribe or King Bharat, has a very long history going back to prehistory. So why should that name not be celebrated in a world increasingly of civilizational states? It is very self-absorbing, narcissistic, solipsistic for any party or coalition to say that because of my name or my new name, suddenly a name which already exists for the country should not be emphasized or de-emphasized. Okay. It has been, the Prime Minister has been saying, not now, but since 2014, about 1,000 years of slavery. Now, the 1,000 years of slavery was before 1947, right? There was no political unit called India, but there was always this organic civilization that we can now call India in retrospect, or that people used to call Bharat. Some people earlier used to call Aryavart, some Jambu Dweep, some in northern India used to call it Hindustan. But Bharat was the most popular, authentic name, which is not in Hindi, by the way. Let me correct one of the people who were on your panel. It is a Sanskritic name. If you go back to King Bharat or the Bharat tribe, there was no Hindi then, right? It was Sanskrit and then later of Prakrit. As somebody else rightly mentioned, in all South Indian languages and regions, also the word Bharat or Bharat Varsham or Bharat Desham is used. So this has got nothing to do with Hindi at all. It is in fact the most Indian authentic name we have given to ourselves instead of taking
so I'm out of time,
given, which is also
but I want to get quick final words. Sanjay Jha wants to go first and then Shehzad. Sanjay.
Yeah, Rahul, the gentleman before me waxed eloquent on civilizational ethos. Now, sir, even I happen to be a student of political history, and history was one of my subjects as an undergraduate student. I also am aware that civilizations are not just some kind of an abstract term. It's about the political and the social practices. Can you tell me, when did lynching of the minority community, when did hate speeches calling for genocide, when did political leadership of a country doing dog whistle politics, when did that become part of civilization? Can you explain that to me?
I'll let Shahzad Poonawala respond and have the last word. Go on.
1960 is Jabalpur. 1960 is Jabalpur.
In fact, Mumbai 1992 also, and at that time it was the Uddhav Sena they used to blame, but now they're happily in alliance with them. But that's another story for Sanjay Jha's hypocrisy. That's not the point. The point is, Rahul, that if you have called your yatra Bharat Jodo Yatra, which started with George Ponea, who had many things to say about Bharat Mata, why is it that you are so upset that the president is calling the invite president of Bharat? You should be celebrating it. Point number one. And point number two, if renaming is politically imperative, then there have been people who got married in this country named as Antonia and they took the name of Sonia. So if you can do it and you can take a name that you feel is civilizationally more fit, what is the problem if we are encouraging the use of Bharat, which is constitutionally ordained?
If this is about recalibration of priorities and wanting that the name Bharat be used more often, it's one thing. If it's about changing the name altogether, ceasing to use the name India and only wanting to use the name Bharat, that is a different matter. I'm holding judgment only because we are not sure of what the government intends to do, for sure. And if anybody claims they know, frankly, they don't. Neither Shahzad knows, and he was honest enough to admit it. So let's just hold judgment. We've had this debate, but we'll see what actually happens on the 18th. But remember, very interestingly, it is on the 18th of September 1949 that the debate in the Constituent Assembly took place around the name that India should be given. There were different options, as I said: Hind, Hindustan, Bharat, Bharat Bhumi, Bharat Varsh. So those are the various suggestions in that debate. Will it be on the 18th of September again that the country gets a new name? Let's see what comes of it. Okay, I want to go across live to the Bharat Mandapam. My colleague Anjana Kashyap is talking at this moment to Minister of State Meenakshi Lekhi.
Yes, that is the foundational message of our civilization, to roots which we have taken to spread the message all across through 5,000 plus years.
So we're showcasing India in a big way in front of all of them. Now we come to the minute details of G20. 3 valid questions. Number one, what will we get a joint communique? Will we be able to get everyone in light of the Russia-Ukraine war? Will we be able to get a joint communique at the end of it?
So let me just, so the procedure adopted is, there are 2 things. One is chair summary. In chair summary, you put everything. Whoever is speaking, whatever, goes as chair summary. And then call out what has been agreed upon by all sides, and that comes as an outcome document. So these 2 procedures is what we are following.
So an outcome document is what we will be expecting. Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, and Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, are not coming. How does that affect the G20 celebrations?
So it doesn't really affect because G20 is about cooperation on several fronts, which we have sought and tried to bring focus onto many subjects of interest. And India, being a country which is representing both global north and global south, east and west, has tried to bridge the gap on all sides, because the world is going through polycrisis. And at that time of polycrisis, sane voices, voices of middle path matter, and that's what India is all about. So far as a country's representation is concerned, I must tell you that it is usually up to that country how they wish to represent themselves. Usually before the leaders meet, most of the negotiations have happened beforehand. Most of the things and documentation part happens before the final process, before the leaders descend, and it is that process which usually gets done. Thus, somebody's presence or absence does not really reflect on the summit as such. I mean, just to sort of cast the doubts aside, I'm giving an example. So we had SEO summit in Central Asia. We've had NAM, non-aligned movement, and I was representing the Honorable Prime Minister at that time. And that is because country can choose who will be representing, because most of the positions of the country is taken inside the country, and then it's an outside representation which the representative of the head of the state can go and make that statement.
In light of Jill Biden turning COVID positive, are you anxiously waiting for Joe Biden's COVID report? Because what White House has informed the press is that they're testing him every day now.
No, I'm sure they would be testing, and rightfully so. But let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
In view of China not coming, experts around the world are saying that it's because of India's growing stature in the world that China or Xi Jinping has chosen to stay back and is sending Li Qiang. How do you look at that?
So I would say people are looking at China from a very short-term perspective. I mean, they are looking at maybe 70 years or 50 years or that time period. But historically, India has had very many exchanges with China, including Sanskrit was taught and learnt. Martial arts went from here. A whole lot of them were from Sanatan Parampara. Khotan was habited during Ashoka period by Indians. So a long-term perspective always matters to people like us. Short-term perspective is probably not giving the complete picture.
So a Xi or a Li will not make a big difference?
Really it doesn't. For the simple reason that it's up to that country to decide how they want to be represented. And it is their prerogative also. I mean, there could be internal reasons, there could be health reasons, there could be several reasons. So let's not give too much meaning to that. Let's leave it to them how they wish to be represented.
Okay, so that's Meenakshi Lekhi, the entire cabinet out in full force, trying to bring the final touches to the Bharat Mandapam, which will be the venue where this G20 summit will be hosted. We've had some high-level conversations. Our reporters are on the ground. We're tracking the G20 summit like absolutely no other network is. We've got reporters tracking each of the countries, each of the delegations that are going to be coming here. We'll have all the updates live across our network all through this weekend for you.